Blind Citizens Australia proudly presents the Entrepreneurial Mindset Webinar Series. Brought to you in partnership with Vision Australia. Webinar 5, Networking and Marketing in a Sighted World. BCA acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we all meet today.
I also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which each of you are living, loving, and learning and working from today. As we share our knowledge, our virtual space, may we also pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of Australia, and hope that the path towards reconciliation continues to be shared and embraced. Welcome again. Tonight's webinar topic is networking and marketing in a sighted world. We're very excited about this evening's session. This is the fifth of the 6 webinars in Blind Citizens Australia, the Entrepreneurial Mindset Series, delivered in partnership with Vision Australia. For all present, we have a very special offer from Small Business Australia for any current small business owners in attendance today. So please stay tuned. We're not going to quite give you the information just yet, but we certainly will at the end. I'd now like to turn to Robyn McKenzie. Thank you, Robyn.
Thanks so much, Deb, and thank you everybody for joining us again tonight. I hope you're all comfortable and cozy for the next hour. Sit down and enjoy this webinar. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'll have each of the panelists introduce themselves. So about me, I think most of you know me, but I'm Robyn McKenzie. I am a former executive officer at BCA, and after I left BCA, I became the manager of DARU, the Disability Advocacy Resource Unit, which operates out of VCOS, the Victorian Council of Social Service. And then when I left there, I went on to manage a program at AFDO, the Australian Federation of Disability Organisations, a project which was funded by the National Disability Insurance Agency, NDIA, under their information linkages and capacity building grants scheme. And the specific project was to work with state-based and national organisations of and for people with disability to maintain or build on their sustainability in this new funding world that we've all come into once the NDIA came into operation. And of recent times, I've started doing a graduate certificate in career development practice with the view of, like you, running my own business as a careers counsellor and coach. So I'm gaining a great deal from these webinars and also the podcasts that are accompanying this webinar series with the view that it will aid me when I start my practice next year. So I've got a very vested interest in all of the 6 webinar topics, but I've got to say in particular this one, because marketing and networking, they're words that we use, but not necessarily words that we might understand, or not necessarily concepts that we actually know how to put into practice. So really looking forward to hearing from our panelists today. And we'll start with Leah Sing, who is a person who is vision impaired, who runs her own business. Leah, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Robyn. Hi, everyone. So as Robyn mentioned, my name's Leah, and I used to run a massage business for just over 10 years. I started the massage business because I was very interested in health, and I have been interested in health since I was a really little girl. And you know, my dream was to become a doctor or a nurse or a paramedic or something like that. But obviously with my vision impairment, it probably would have limited me and probably not very realistic for me to do that. Just because, you know, you have to be able to see really fine detail and things like that. So I was just basically researching what kind of health things that I could get into that you know, where my vision wouldn't really impact what I did. And I came across massage. So I first started doing a Cert 4 in massage, and I really enjoyed it. And so I continued on to do a diploma of remedial massage. And during the course, they had a couple of modules on business. And, you know, I kind of decided that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to open up my own business in massage therapy rather than work for someone else, because then I could be, you know, a bit more flexible and things like that, because I was a single mum at the time as well, and I had a little girl. So yeah, that's what I decided to do. And yeah, I really enjoyed it.
And we'll stop you there because we'll learn more about the Leah Sing story in a second.
Yep.
But let's hear from our other two panelists. So today we also have joining us Kristine Bell from SparkIt Insight and oops, and I've just
Strategy.
Strategy. Sorry, Kristine. Kristine, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yes, of course, and thank you for having me tonight. I'm Kristine Bell. As you can hear, I have an accent. I'm actually from Denmark, but I've lived here for over 17 years. And I come from a background with big business, working for big agencies, advertising agencies as a strategist. I then moved into branding and innovation as a strategist. And finally, I moved into strategic, qualitative, in-depth research, where you really spend 10,000, I've spoken to more than 10,000 people around the world about everything in life that I've been researching for big brands. And I use those insights to create fantastic customer-centric strategies in our businesses, so we can make sure that we align our customers' needs and wants with what we have to offer. So there's alignment, and there is more likelihood of them being engaged with what we do and finding it relevant, and ultimately wanting to buy from us and use us again. So I'm very focused on that. I've been doing that for big brands for the last 7 years. I've been working for myself, and I'm particularly passionate about helping startups, small businesses, and solopreneurs, and empower them to have a very engaging and persuasive umbrella customer strategy in place that will guide you in everything you do in your marketing. So everything we do in execution comes together and communicates the same message, and is aligned in terms of the experience they have with us and the product and service we offer, and the branding as well. So it's bringing that all together and making sure whatever we're doing in terms of a video, for example, or a website, that it all hangs together. And that's what I'm all about.
Lovely. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say today. Did you use the term solopreneurs?
Yes, I did. Solopreneurs. There's a lot of us out there. I'm one of them. So these are businesses that are started by one person and run by one person. And they may use other services, but it's usually a supply relationship rather than bringing them in as employees. And there are a lot more of those businesses starting. I don't know the numbers, but there are a lot of them. And they have been coming stronger and stronger in the last few years.
Excellent. And with regard to your accent, speaking on behalf of the blindness community, we like people with accents because at least it helps us to separate out other speakers. You know, it'll be easier for us to know that it's Kristine speaking today. So that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our final panelist for today is May Chang from Agility Marketing. May, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Robyn. So I'm May Chang, and I'm the the founder of Agility Marketing. So I'm a brand strategist and a marketeer. I'll give you a bit of background. So I've been working for about 25 years in sales and business development, and then branding and marketing in the corporate sector. So it's from your ITs like your IBM, telcos like Telstra, to health and fitness. And then I stepped in about 5 years ago, or stepped out into building my own business. And I think the whole scary part is that when you are working for someone else, your identity is so much of that of a corporate identity. But when you step out into your own business, all of a sudden you have to really address and establish who are you and what does your business stand for. So I'm very passionate that every business should cherish and nurture their brand, because a brand is not just a logo that stands still. It evolves, and that brings a superb and very rich material for your marketing. And how Kristine and I met, it's through networking.
Okay. We might talk a little bit about that later too. Thanks, May. Leah, let's go back to you. You've given us a little bit of an insight into the journey that you took in terms of you had an interest in the health sector and the decision process that you went through that led you to getting into massage therapy. But why start your own business in massage? What was the process? What was the thinking that made you go take that step?
I found it really hard to find a job, to be honest. And, it was just a bit difficult, even with massage therapy. Like when you're first starting, you've got a time limit. Like, say, for example, if someone books you for an hour, you have to stick to that time limit, but then you don't really want to disturb the client. I can't see the clock. I was trying to figure out, oh, maybe I could, set a timer on my phone, but then I'd disturb the client. They didn't have like Apple Watches back then, I don't think, or, talking watches. It was just really difficult. And I just found it to be less flexible, but yeah, it was just hard for me to find a job. And I just thought, I can make it work for myself. I mean, now whenever I do massage, whether it's an hour and a half an hour, whatever the treatment is, it's like built into my body. Like I know when it is up, like when time's up, without even looking at a clock. But I guess when you're learning and when you're first starting out, you don't really know that. And so it was just a little bit daunting, I guess. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to give myself a chance, and I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. And do it successfully. And that's what I did.
And how did you determine what type of massage business you wanted to operate and where it would be and who you would be massaging?
So I first started a home business because it was the least amount of risk in terms of rent and all of that. And then I actually went to the doctors, and the doctor asked me, like my GP asked me what I did for a living, and I told her, and she said, oh, we have a spare room here at the surgery. Would you like to, rent out a room? And I had enough clients at that time, so I decided to take the leap and do it. And it was really good because, the doctors would actually refer their patients onto me, and we'd develop a treatment plan for the patients and things like that. And the doctor's clinic was only like 10 minutes walk from my house, so my clients had no problems going over to the doctor's clinic instead of my home. So I did that for probably 3 years or so, and then I kind of not decided, but my interest kind of laid more in the sporting field and the remedial massage field. So I decided to look for somewhere else to go where it would support where I wanted to go with massage. And so I checked out this gym that was also probably, 5 minutes drive from my house. And they were renting out a room for a massage therapist, and so I started there. And the PTs and other workers and things, because they had like kids judo and martial arts and different things there. So I'd get referrals through those avenues as well.
And so because you had a specific target that was people who are in the sporting arena, and you knew you wanted to do remedial massage and you had a referral source, it sounds like you were pretty clear on who your target market was going to be.
Yeah.
or
I know, I was just going to say at that point, I'd been doing massage for a while. So it kind of like, I knew which way I wanted to go. I knew what kind of clients I wanted and what I didn't want. So I had a particular target market in mind. So it was people who were between 30 and 50 years old, and they have to have been wanting to look after their health. They're interested in their health. They're interested in their well-being. You know, they needed to either play sport regularly or attend the gym regularly, because those people are the ones who are committed to themselves. And they'd be the ones who'd come back for repeat treatments because they actually care about their health and well-being. And I chose between 30 to 50 because I found that they were the most reliable clients, because under 30, they were a bit flaky, to be honest, like very irregular, you know, because they're still young and, you know, oh yeah, maybe I'll see you next week, maybe I won't, you know. They might cancel last minute if it was a weekend appointment because they might have had a night out the night before. And all of that stuff. So I chose between 30 and 50, and I was very specific in the type of clients that I wanted to deal with.
Thanks, Leah. That's a really good, gives us a really good grounding in, you really do need to know who you're targeting your business towards. Let's move to Kristine. On that note, Kristine, it's really important, isn't it, that Leah was able to identify her target audience. Can you speak to why that is important when you are marketing your business?
Yes, of course. Thank you for the question, and great job, Leah, by the way. So I love how you did it. So when we create a business, especially if we're launching a business, it's really important, if we're a small business and we don't have a lot of budgets like the big businesses, it's really important that we identify within our niche and what we want to do and who we are and what our superpowers are, which we'll talk about in the next webinar. But it's really important that we align it with the right customers, because if there's alignment, there's much more likely to be a connection and engagement, and they're more likely to want to come back and work with us again or use our services again. And ultimately, the big prize is in repeat customers rather than always finding new customers. So that's really important. I will say, which is what I love what Leah was saying, when you're starting out, it's really important that you don't go too narrow. You want a big enough pool to make sure that you fairly quickly can find the people who would be interested in what you have to offer. I'm also going to say another thing is, as much as there's some people we don't want to work with, and we can definitely identify that as we grow our business and we have the luxury of it. But for me, identifying ideal target market is about identifying a group that we want to love more on, give more love to, the ones we resonate more with. And if we happen to attract other customers in as well, and we, you know, feel that we can service them, we shouldn't turn down customers. But in our marketing, it's very hard unless you have a big budget to speak to many different types of customers in the market. So that's why I'm recommending, when you're starting out, that you focus on one ideal target market and you really align yourself with them and their needs. And then as you grow your business and you have more budget, you can start to look at including more target markets. But you have to bear in mind that your marketing execution might be slightly different in how you reach them and engage with them, because they have different needs. And that brings me to my last point I wanted to suggest. And that is, as much as it's sometimes important to look at demographics like age and whether it's female, male, I also recommend very highly that we look at what motivates the people in the market, for example, of Leah's, in terms of people who would consider remedial massage. What are the different motivations that are driving people to want that massage? And I love how Leah was saying she wanted to have people who believed in health. So that's a motivation. And that's, if you can talk to that in your marketing messaging or in your brand and become that, then you're more likely to align with them, both in your offer, in your experience, in your messaging, and also, as May will talk about, in your branding. So if we can understand the motivations, and their emotional needs. How do they want to feel when they have your experience? And the reason why I say that is that most people don't remember what you do. They don't remember what you say, but they do remember how you made them feel. And the same goes in business. That's, by the way, a quote from Maya Angelou. So I didn't steal it, but it is someone else's, but I love it. And it is so true about humans. By the end of the day, we are selling to humans. Even if it's a product like a drink, we're still selling to humans at the other end who are going to use it or drink it or buy it. And
do you recommend that people actually write this out to themselves? They actually just write some notes to say who is my target?
Absolutely. So what I actually do in my business for startups and small businesses, I co-create a one-pager where we really nail in customer-friendly language what is our unique value proposition, but very importantly, who is our ideal target market for what we have to offer, what makes us special, and how it aligns with which group. For example, the people who are more into sports, as Leah's mentioned, they're interested in health, they're motivated by optimizing their performance and their health and keeping up with their kids. That's very powerful. So if you can align those two in a one-pager, and then that will guide our overall branding and our messaging, our experience and product offer. Yes, I really think we should write that out.
Okay, thank you, Kristine. May, let's hear from you now. You mentioned about branding, and Kristine's just mentioned it too. Can you give us the basics on what is branding and why is that important to really understand our brand?
Thank you, Robyn. I like it when things are kind of kept simple and the language is also kept simple, because then everybody gets it. So imagine you have a dog tag. In the army, everybody wears a dog tag. It identifies them. So there is no question who that person is. And therefore, imagine that you are wearing a invisible dog tag, because the minute we are born, we already have a brand. As a child, you may be branded, oh, beautiful baby, you crying, a girl, you naughty boy, you absolutely great student. So whether you like it or not, you are being labeled with a brand, right? But it's probably kind of developed so organically that you don't really have much kind of control over it as a child, trying to find your voice. Then when we step into, the business world, if you're working as an employee at corporate brand and represent my company, I think when you start kind of moving out and into your own business, that's where all of a sudden you really need to define what is your brand. Branding is our identity, right? And what we stand for. And then when you kind of like peel it back, so what do you stand for? And then as you go through life, you're accumulating insights, etc. That helps to define what do you believe you stand for, which are those personal values. I find that, if it's my personal values and my business values, sometimes it may not kind of like, it's like having split identities. So for me, as I kind of mature in my business and in my brand, I'm more of trying to strike a harmony, because it's still me. Whether my friends deal with me and whether it's my business clients that deal with me, I would like to represent it as one. So I have like six values, and 2 of those values are being curious and have confidence. And that curiosity is so much driving in me in how I execute for my business. Curiosity keeps me from accepting the first solution that comes into my mind or when we brainstorm. It actually helps you to deep dive a bit more. And confidence is that when you step off from being comfortable into the uncomfortable and you master it, then you become confident, and then go and chase after the next adventure that gets you a little bit uncomfortable. So those are kind of like pillars for your own brand that you can figure out through developing your business plan, and then from there a marketing plan.
And when you talk about, I'm just curious that a brand is never static; it's always developing and growing. So does that mean how regularly do you need to be checking in with your brand and making sure that everything's on track?
So I very much, I think your values, even as you mature in your business, would stay the same. But as you mature in regards to the knowledge gain, the insights, the research, like what Kristine would do in her business, or when you research, you're actually learning, you're getting insights, etc. So that means that then puts in layer upon layer of new intelligence into yourself. And that is what I mean by growing in your brand development. And with that, for example, when you are posting on social media, you have learned something new. You could put that something new into a content, a post itself, with that new perspective that you have, and invite further perspective. If you have a quality engagement that allows you to also expand on that by having other perspectives that are also valid, again, you're learning and growing. And as you learn and grow, then your brand, in that sense, is kind of maturing, just like fine wine.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, thank you. Leah, it sounds like you were quite in touch with what your brand was pretty much right from the get-go. How did you go about, therefore, marketing yourself once you knew who your target audience was, what your brand is, what you stood for? How did you then go about developing a plan to market your business?
I obviously thought about social media to begin with, because it was free. I didn't have to develop a website or anything like that at the time. And I thought about which platform my target market would mainly access. And so that was Facebook. And I also thought about which platform I could access as well, because I think at the time, Instagram wasn't very accessible. Snapchat still isn't accessible. Neither's TikTok, really. So I chose Facebook because that's basically where the 30 to 50-year-olds go anyway these days. All the other platforms are mainly for younger people, I believe. So I created a Facebook page. I got some help from some family and friends to, put my cover photo up and my profile photo, which my profile photo was my logo and my business name. And then the cover photo was just of someone massaging someone, looking very relaxed. And then I joined a lot of business groups on Facebook. And I learned a lot from those groups because there were heaps of people asking various questions. Most of them were questions that I had. I could also go on there and ask questions. And it really, I think the thing that bothered me the most was the fact that social media is very visual. So if I just wrote a caption and posted it, I wouldn't get much engagement because there was no photo accompanying my caption, no video either. So I had to figure out a way to boost my engagement and my reach. So I asked some questions on the Facebook groups, and a few people recommended this this pre-curated content where you could buy bundles of images of different things. So like there might be a massage bundle, for example, which will have like a photo of maybe someone getting a massage, and then they might have, you know, some information about massage therapy is beneficial because blah, blah, blah. And then I'd write my caption on that, like not on the photo, but in the post. The only problem with that is I couldn't see the images in those bundles. So I had to ask a friend. I was talking to a friend, and yeah, I asked her if she minded helping me, and you know, we were discussing about what I could do so I could access it. And she's like, look, I don't mind if we label the photos, you know, like image 1, image 2, image 3, and put it in like a massage bundle folder, and then we could have another one that's like inspirational quote folder, and then I'd label it like image 1, image 2, image 3, etc. And then in those folders, she created like a Word document that said image 1, whatever the image said, and then she'd describe briefly like picture of blah blah, so that when I wanted to write a quote, when I wanted to write a post, I would write whatever my caption is, and then I'd find a relevant image to go with that caption. And I'd know, okay, if I clicked on image 4, it'd bring up that one that I wanted. And so that's how I got around the image part. And then later on down the track, I learned that you could actually get more reach if you did videos. And that actually worked really well for me, because I didn't have to worry about images. I didn't have to, you know, worry about trying to label all the images from those curated content bundles. So I did a lot of videos, and particularly when lives came out, because they came out later on down the track, I did a lot of lives, because with lives, I don't know if you guys know, but if you like a page and they go live, they actually send you a notification, like it'll say Envision Massage is live now, or, you know, was live 5 minutes ago, or whatever. And so it actually notifies your page followers. So I did a lot of lives, and that's how I got a lot of engagement and you know, a lot more likes on my page and all of that stuff. And you know, you can develop your brand by doing lives, because I think that you can be a lot more authentic when you do lives, because people get to know who you are. There's no, oh wait, let me edit this, oh wait, I made a mistake, I didn't mean to say that, you know what I mean? Like, it's just you and the camera and your followers, so they get to know the true you. So I actually really encourage that, and I actually think that, you know, there's nothing wrong with asking for help as well. You just got to look around you and see, you know, who has the skills to help you, whether they're your family, your friends, your whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. It could be a support worker. It could be anyone.
Before we go to question time, I wanted to ask May. Leah's given us another great example of, because she's really understood her audience and she's really understood what her capacity is around her vision impairment, she's been able to target her marketing strategy accordingly. Are there other suggestions that you might have around how being really clear about who you want to market to can then help you with what your marketing strategy might be?
Totally. Leah, excited that you have worked out, you know, your business so beautifully. And I think here the tips with marketing is that there is, for each of our business, we have unique offering. Yeah, because you are yourself unique. And that means there's a lot of figuring time. You got to figure out, but also then be bold enough to test and trial, just like what Leah is doing, and then really leverage on technology. As you know, technology now with Zoom, all these different things are becoming more affordable. It's very feature rich, and it's when you, as Leah says, don't be afraid to ask. You either get the no yes or a maybe, right? And when you get a yes, celebrate with that person. And when you get a no, go to the next one. And people who are aligned with your values, they most of the time, they are just wanting to pounce and help you, because most of us really are kind of like, kind of giving nature. Especially for me, I do find that on the LinkedIn platform, where my clients tend to hang around, and not only my clients, my referral partners, affiliates, etc. And it is not really just about the person that you connect to, but it is the whole network that is behind that person who may be of help. So I think I've been able to turn up consistently, and very much what Leah says about videos, right? If you put a post through and it's just text, it's powerful, but not that engaging, because it's kind of flat. Yeah, it's just one dimension. The minute you could put
for a sighted person anyway. Sorry.
Pardon?
For a sighted person anyway.
Oh yes, for a sighted person.
That's right.
So true. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
And
No worries.
unfortunately,
And I think it's understanding kind of like, what do you have that you could leverage with help? And video itself is so true, because it allows you to be kind of that not say interactive. You can post a video, right? Unless it's live. You can post a video and all of a sudden it's three-dimensional, because your voice is there, your expression is there, and your energy. So important. The energy that either lifts up or suck up, so then that's where you bring your whole of presence onto the screen, even here on Zoom, right? So let's say, okay, visual is not that good, use your voice. Your voice can have such a smiling factor to it, right?
that's right.
So leverage all those. And when you're authentic, you're not even acting, you're just enjoying yourself.
Let's hand over now to our audience. Do we have any questions, Christina?
Yes, we do. Our first question is from Elise.
Good evening, everybody, and it's Elise here from Data Australasia, Disability and Assistive Technology Access Australasia, which is a mouthful, which is why I came up with the acronym. Thanks, ladies, for a wonderful presentation thus far. Someone mentioned LinkedIn, I think it was May. I have been goaded back into going to try LinkedIn Premium. I had it several years ago as I came back to Australia. At that time, I was looking for work and did find work through one of the major blindness organisations. So, I turned off LinkedIn Premium because I didn't need it. Have you tried LinkedIn Premium, and do you think it's worth it?
I tried it as a just for trial purposes.
Yep.
And also a sales navigator.
Sorry?
I think a sales navigator. So there's another product. So it goes by increment, right?
Yep.
It all depends on what you need it for. I mean, LinkedIn was built for as a kind of career publicity, in that you market yourself there, and it is for searching career. And then now it has evolved so much that it's also about when you have these different packages, it gives you access to a lot of analytics in regards to the profile of the members who are on LinkedIn and how you search it. So I would use it if I'm, for example, in my case, I like to connect with people who are businesses of a certain size. And maybe we'll call it by their job titles, etc., because I want to get to know them better. So, but it's also possible not to actually be able to need to spend any money by doing basic searches. It's only when you want to get a bit more sophisticated in your search and to also what call that be in contact with those who are outside your second or your third level connection. So maybe Kristine might be able to add a bit more on it, because both of us are very active on LinkedIn.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, because there's a lot of people in the disability sector that are active, and I've always thought of LinkedIn as a career thing, like you said, but it seems that it might be worthwhile utilizing that membership I've got, because it's quite expensive. It's like $80 a month Australian. So
it attracts small businesses and startups and solopreneurs. So there is a vibrant culture for that, or environment for that, growing on LinkedIn, as opposed to people working in big corporate jobs and advancing their career. So that's definitely growing, and it's thriving. I think it's coming into thriving, but there is certain types of businesses it attracts in. So you really have to look at who is your ideal target market. So they may not be on LinkedIn. For example, one of my clients was in the dentist industry, and we can't find as many dentists that are active on LinkedIn. So then you'd have to find another way to engage with them. So you have to look at it from who is my target market. They got a lot of coaches on LinkedIn, a lot of agents, buyers, and a lot of health fitness going on there as well. A lot of marketing and business offering and coaching. And obviously people who want to start a business are also on there. So they might be looking for services in that regard as well, in terms of helping anything from technology, anything you need in a business. So those are the ones I've seen that are very much active. That's not to say there aren't others, but you really have to identify your ideal target market and where best to find them for what you do. You also have to think about what is their mindset when they're on LinkedIn. So if you're talking to a pet lover, if they're thinking about pet food, you might find pet lovers on LinkedIn. But if you're thinking about pet food, they might be looking at another platform or in a different channel altogether for things for their pets. So you have to think about it from that. I have premium, by the way. I like it, but it allows you to reach out to people directly within mails that you're not connected to a certain number.
And activated premium.
There's one thing they don't say, and this is the last point I'll make, is which I have debated with people who call themselves LinkedIn influencers are very big. They say if you pay for premium and you put out a lot of posts and you want to have higher reach, you're likely to be put up with the algorithm if you pay them.
A bit like Google Analytics. I mean, so my business, I don't want to hog up the channel, but my business, I can go directly to the clients, which I like to comment about Facebook, because it gave me a bit of a start, and I put my Facebook page up because I sort of did my website at the same time. I did my own website, so I can do that. But suffice it to say, the other thing about going directly is I can actually go via other people to clients. I've often, because of my work with the NDIS, I get calls from service providers or service coordinators, support coordinators rather, and sometimes local area coordinators as well, which is part of the NDIS, and they sort of ring me up and check me out, and usually, and more often than not, make referrals. So it's not just directly for me to the clients, it's going through other bodies such as here, and my entrepreneurial mindset, BCA's, technology people, just around the blind community, so it's that networking, and I cannot emphasize enough how important networking is.
Thanks, Elise. You've sparked a good discussion there. Christina, do we have any other questions?
Yes, we do. We've had one that has come through the email. So this is from Peter. So Peter says that he's in an unusual situation in his business that he's trying to develop. He has an invention, and it's a multi-directional tip for the white mobility cane. And all tips now available can only be obtained from the same manufacturer who sells the cane. So the Sensible, which is his invention, will fit almost every brand of cane on the market, and he expects a lot of animosity from the existing brands. So he's wondering if they should try and strike a deal with each brand to sell under license, or try and take them all on in the marketplace.
with Kristine, do you have something that you could offer Peter there?
It's a big question because it's beyond your marketing strategy. You have to think about it from a business strategy perspective. What is more likely to be successful? How much money do you have to take on them all? It will cost a bit of money. It will take a bit of time to build. It will take a bit of time to get in. They might react to it, as you mentioned. So it's a big question, and I guess it comes down to a little bit money and time and the likelihood of you winning if you take them all on. It sounds like a great invention, but you may need some support or some companies to support you with that.
One of the things we're fortunate is that mobility instructors are often the key avenue to people getting deciding which tip to buy. So one of our strategies might be to put one of our devices in the hand of each mobility instructor.
Yeah, and then get them to make a deal with them so they become your helpers in terms of selling it.
The agencies that they work for could order them from us direct, I guess.
Yeah. So you can. So what I use in my business is referrals. So I have people that I have connected with who will sell my offer as well, and I will sell their offer for them, and I get 10-20%.
The problem is you can't really sell stuff direct to people, undercutting the price that you're selling it to a wholesaler, I guess. I would have to work all that out with the agencies for the blind. And
there's definitely a money deal to be made somewhere, and you've got to look at the best thing for you.
Can I make a quick suggestion? I know Peter's product well. He showed it to me several months ago, and he talked about it 2 years ago. Two things come to mind there. Would it be that he rings up the Australian mob and offers it to them, and if they don't buy it, then you ring up the Canadian mob and offer it to them? But sweet talk them a bit, because that could be their point of difference.
I think the key here is that, in line with our topic for this webinar, is about networking and marketing, and it's important to make everybody your friend, not your enemy. That's probably a critical issue here.
Yep. And if I may add to that is go for the path of the least resistance. You don't want to burn bridges.
Most people tried or are friends, so that's a good start.
One day a foe, the next day a friend, right?
So you ring them all up and you go, have I got a special deal for you? And the special deal is I've got this cane tip that people just absolutely love. Would you like to put it on your canes? You'll have to probably send them one and make sure you go through IP Australia so they don't pitch the idea. That's the patent.
We've got our patenting.
Yep.
Worked out. So very expensive, I can tell you that much.
Well, good luck with that one, Peter. I think we've only got a minute or two left. Do we have any more questions, Christina?
Yes. So another question that comes through for Leah is, Leah, is there anything that you would do differently if you had to, again, in regards to marketing your business?
I actually don't think so, because I did what I could at the start, and all the way through. And if I didn't start, say for example, working from home and then transitioning to the doctor's office and then trying to, figuring out who I wanted to treat and then going to the gym, if I didn't experience all of that, I probably wouldn't know what my target market is. I wouldn't know who I wanted to treat. I wouldn't know, who my ideal clients were, because everybody wants a massage. Let's face it, from, as young as newborns to all the way to, when you're old. I don't know how old, could be 100. But you know what I mean? I did have a client who was 101, but you know what I mean? Everybody wanted a massage, but I didn't want to treat every person under the sun. And, like Christina said before, I didn't turn people away. I didn't go, oh, you're not interested in sports, so therefore I'm not going to massage you. I did have just random other people that I'd massage who were my regulars and became my regulars for over 10 years from the very beginning. However, I just focused more on the ones that I wanted to treat. That's basically the point that I was getting at. And with regards to the marketing as well, you know, I did do just captions to begin with no images, because I didn't know about the curated content. And, you know, I wouldn't have learnt any of that if I didn't ask in the groups. I wouldn't have learnt any of it if I didn't join the groups, you know, if I didn't ask for help in the groups, with any of my networks as well, like my friends, my family. I wouldn't have been able to figure it out if I didn't go through what I went through. So no, I don't think I'd do anything differently. And, you know, like I think it was Christina again, and actually even May said it, it is important to not burn bridges and to create relationships with other providers, because I had other massage therapists who I referred to. So for example, if I wasn't interested in pregnancy massage, oh, I know a good pregnancy therapist, you know, they're just down the road, you can go to them. You know what I mean? They might take a little bit of a cut, or they may not, I don't know. Like it, you know, I don't know, sorry, but it depends on which provider I was referring to. I had different deals with different providers, whether it be a chiro, a physiotherapist, or another massage therapist that was in a different modality. And I also had even remedial and sports therapists that I'd refer to, because, you know, sometimes I'm not available all the time. So, and if they weren't my ideal person, then I may refer to other therapists as well. So yeah,
Leah
hope that
Sing,
answers the question.
thanks. That you've been listening to Leah Sing. Thank you so much for being so open about the strategies that you've used, and you've really explained so well some of the thinking behind your behaviours and your actions. I've really gained from it. Thank you so much, Leah Sing. And I look forward to listening to your podcast on the BCA website too. Let's wrap it up there, though, unfortunately. So I'd like to thank Leah Sing today, and Kristine Bell from SparkIt Insights and Strategy. Kristine's actually going to join us at our next webinar, so that I'm really looking forward to that too. And May Chang from Agility Marketing, thank you so much today. I've really gained a great deal from this panel discussion, and I hope our audience has too.
Sincere thanks to Kristine and Leah, May and Robyn for such an engaging and informative session and sharing all your networking tips. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for joining us this evening. And as Robyn mentioned, we do have one final webinar, which is scheduled on Monday, the 19th of December. And that is very much going to focus in on adding to your business and knowing your niche. So it'll be great to connect in with Kristine Bell again as we dive a little bit deeper into all the details around that one. If you happen to have missed our first 4 webinars, recording can be accessed via our Blind Citizens Australia and Eye to the Future webinar website. And that special offer that I mentioned earlier, it's in regards to Bill Lang, who's the Director of Small Business Australia, where a small number of free 12-month subscriptions to Business Advance Online for business owners who are blind or vision impaired, allowing unlimited access to our online community for networking and resources, webinars, training, advice and support, valued at $500, a very generous offer from Bill Lang. So attendees at tonight's webinar, you can contact us at bca@bca.org.au to take advantage of that fantastic offer. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you to Christina, our Zoom host, and wishing you all a wonderful rest of your evening. Good night.